In the quiet town of Prairie Village, Kansas, the Farrar family seemed to have it all. Michael Farrar, a respected physician, and his wife, Debora Green, also a doctor, shared their home with their 3 children, Tim, Kate, and Kelly. Their lives appeared picture-perfect, but beneath the surface, tensions simmered. By the summer of 1995, the couple's marriage was unraveling. Michael had filed for divorce, and Debora's behavior grew increasingly erratic. She distanced herself from friends and colleagues, and her once promising medical career began to falter. Michael, meanwhile, started experiencing mysterious bouts of illness. Despite numerous hospital visits, doctors couldn't determine the cause. On October 24, 1995, tragedy struck. A fire engulfed the Farrar family home. Debora and Kate managed to escape, but Tim and Kelly were trapped inside. Firefighters arrived swiftly, but the flames had already claimed the lives of the 2 children. Investigators soon discovered that the fire was no accident. Traces of accelerant led to Debora's bedroom. Michael's unexplained illnesses were the result of poisoning. Debora had been administering ricin, a deadly toxin, into his food for months. Debora Green was arrested and charged with multiple counts, including the murders of her children and the attempted murder of her husband. She entered an Alford plea, acknowledging the prosecution's evidence without admitting guilt. She was sentenced to 2 concurrent 40-year prison terms without parole. This case left the community in shock, grappling with the realization that a mother and physician could commit such heinous acts. In the heart of Texas, Lockhart was home to the Brown family, respected by all. Sean Brown was a 3rd-generation farmer, tending to the same 180-acre property his grandfather had cultivated. His wife, Monica, was a beloved elementary school teacher. Together, they had 2 children, Claire, 14, and Lucas, 11. Their farm was a peaceful retreat from the outside world, and their life seemed idyllic. However, by October 12, 2009, tension had begun to build in the Brown household. Little did anyone know that it would be the last night the family would spend together. The morning of October 13th began like any other, but when a neighboring farmer checked on the family, he found the farmhouse eerily silent. Upon entering, he discovered Sean, Monica, and the children had been brutally murdered. Sean was found lifeless, Monica shot while trying to protect her children, and Claire and Lucas executed in their beds. There were no signs of forced entry, and nothing of value had been stolen. The investigation was baffled by the lack of a clear motive, and the case grew cold. The Brown family became another forgotten tragedy, but Sean's determination never waned. The evening of October 12, 2009, began like any other on the farm. At 9:42 p.m., a black Chevrolet van approached the property. The farm's perimeter fence was severed with industrial cutters, and Sean, hearing a noise, moved toward the barn. Gunfire erupted, hitting him in the shoulder, and he collapsed to the ground. Inside the house, Monica noticed shadows outside and smelled gasoline. She rushed to the window and saw movement. She quickly dialed 911, but her call was cut off by gunfire. Flames soon followed. Claire and Lucas, awakened by the fire, tried to escape, but the heat and smoke overwhelmed them. Claire had defensive wounds, showing she tried to protect her brother. By the time first responders arrived, the Brown family home was in ruins. The attack was too precise to be random, suggesting it was planned. At 10:12 p.m., first responders arrived to find the farmhouse consumed by fire. They found no survivors, but Sean, barely alive, was discovered near the barn. Despite severe blood loss, he clung to life, barely conscious. The investigation revealed no solid leads, but evidence suggested the attack had been professionally executed. Theories were wide-ranging, from a botched robbery to an organized hit. However, with no arrests or clear motives, the case stalled. By 2010, the case had gone cold. Sean, recovering physically, spent months in the hospital, frustrated by the lack of progress. His body was healing, but the emotional toll was far worse. His frustration with the authorities grew, and one day a detective told him, "Sometimes justice takes time." Sean made a vow. Justice wouldn't wait. The case remained unsolved for years, but in 2019, new forensic technology provided a breakthrough. DNA samples that had been inconclusive were reanalyzed, revealing new clues that reconnected the case with similar crimes across Texas, Oklahoma, and New Mexico. Sean's investigation led to the identification of a pattern, including the method of cutting security systems. This military-grade precision matched training provided at Fort Benning between 1995 and 1997. Further investigations revealed the use of custom .45 caliber ammunition used in several other crimes. Sean's private investigation began in earnest, with the sale of the family farm for $1.2 million, far below market value. Sean hired former FBI agent Marcus Blackwood to help with the investigation and obtained private investigator licenses in Texas, Oklahoma, and New Mexico. Sean meticulously documented 27 cases with matching characteristics: military precision, execution-style murders, and sophisticated break-ins. His investigation indicated that the perpetrators operated in a specific geographic triangle between these three states. By 2015, Sean's investigation intersected with an FBI task force looking into agricultural property crimes. Though the FBI was focused on insurance fraud, Sean's findings connected the dots between various cases. But the investigation was suspended due to budget cuts, leaving Sean to continue alone. Sean's obsession grew, and by 2018, he had identified potential suspects. He tracked Ray Tucker, the leader of the gang, whose military background and ties to organized crime were uncovered. Tucker's associates, the Hogan brothers, also emerged as key figures. Sean's investigation led him to the Desert Palm Motel in rural Oklahoma, where Tucker and his associates operated. Using surveillance and a network of informants, Sean tracked their movements, uncovering a larger criminal network tied to real estate scams and illegal operations. Sean rented a house nearby, turning it into a base for his investigation. He began to track the gang's routines, learning their schedules and patterns, slowly gathering enough evidence to make his move. In 2019, Sean's investigation culminated in the identification of Ray Tucker as the gang's leader. Tucker's military records and connections to various criminal enterprises revealed a larger network of violence and organized crime. The final breakthrough came when Sean discovered that Marcus Henderson, a real estate developer, had ordered the hit on the Browns to acquire their land. The gang's final downfall came when Sean captured Ray Tucker and his associates. He held them in a soundproof basement, recorded confessions, and uncovered the full scope of their crimes. Tucker admitted to orchestrating the murder of the Browns and revealed the involvement of Marcus Henderson. By April 15, 2019, Sean Brown was in custody. The trial in 2020 was widely publicized, with public opinion divided. Some saw him as a hero, a vigilante who sought justice for his family. Others saw him as a murderer, guilty of taking the law into his own hands. Sean's defense team argued that his actions were a direct result of the failure of the justice system to protect his family. The jury found him guilty of 3 counts of murder and 1 count of kidnapping, sentencing him to life without parole. In the aftermath of the trial, the case sparked a debate about the morality of vigilantism and the effectiveness of the justice system. Some believed Sean had been unfairly punished, while others felt justice had been served. As Sean began his life sentence, the community grappled with the moral implications of his actions. As the trial came to a close and the debate raged on, one thing was clear. Sean Brown's story is a reminder of how complex justice can be. Was he a hero seeking justice for a crime that the system failed to solve? Or was he simply a man consumed by revenge? The lines between right and wrong blur when you're left with no other choice. Now we want to hear from you. What do you think? Was Sean justified in taking the law into his own hands? Or did he cross a line that can't be uncrossed? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this case as gripping as we did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated on the latest true crime stories. You won't want to miss what's coming next. And if you're looking for more shocking true crime cases, be sure to click on the video on your screen right now. There's always more to uncover. Stay vigilant, stay curious, And remember, sometimes the truth is darker than you can imagine.